Welcome to the Dear Entitled Radio Show with your hosts Nick Beardsley and Javi Mello.
What's going on, everyone? I'm Nick Beardsley, and this is my co-host Javi Mello, and you are listening to Dear Untitled Radio. Today, we're sitting down with catchy Tampa, Florida-based act Nevertel. Really excited you guys were able to join us. Love to have you on here.
Yeah, guys, thank you so much for having us. We're super excited.
Really thrilled.
Thank you.
Really thrilled. So your style and genre as Nevertel, what Nevertel is for people who have no idea, it's not exactly easy to put a finger on, as you're influenced by a lot of, obviously, EDM, hip-hop, alternative. Like, it's obvious when someone hits play on any song. Can you guys kind of give us a quick rundown of who Nevertel is, what you guys are, what the band is about? Just a quick overview, and we'll dig in a little bit deeper off of that.
So we kind of like just started the band originally just as like a group of friends, just trying to make music. We weren't really trying to do anything too crazy at the start of the project. It was kind of like, we were really influenced heavily by bands like Breaking Benjamin, 30 Days Grace, and stuff like that. So originally the project was kind of like started to be like a nice like alternative rock group. And I guess as the band has kind of evolved over the years, we've really loved playing with genre fusion and blending. So I think the kind of music that we love to create now and the vibe that we like to create is just a band that pushes boundaries in genre and doesn't really stay in one lane and likes to push the envelope while still maintaining that pop sensibility. I think that's kind of something we've always strived for. So I think that's something we're really about is trying to find new ways, at least in the rock genre, of like making catchy music that people would still want to jam at a festival or on the radio,
Absolutely. Yeah. That's
100%.
yeah. I mean, it's incredible to hear you say, and I will get into it further in the conversation, but having influences starting with like Breaking Ben. I mean, it's interesting. Because I found you guys at your latest album, and it's very interesting to see that whole transformation, and I'm so excited to kind of chat about that. But I do want to congratulate you and kind of give everyone a heads up that you are on Rockville 2023, correct?
Yes, we are. Yep.
That is
Thursday, May 18th.
Massive. Congratulations.
Yeah,
that has to be, front and center. Holy cow. Like a band like you guys coming up, how's that feel? Like, how'd that even fall in your lap?
Dude, that was so crazy. It was like out of nowhere too. I think we had submitted for a DWP like stream, right, Jeremy? And
I just submitted us one day on their forum website and just didn't really think about it. And then we just got a DM from one of their moderators on our Instagram, and he was like, "Hey, you guys are going to be played on the stream today. You guys should stop by. Here's like the assets to post about it and stuff like that." And we just stopped by, not thinking anything of it. I think it was one of their unsigned chart. So they chart bands that they listen to live, and then people vote on it. Again, we were literally setting up the rack for live that day. Remember, Raul?
Yeah, we were at practice setting it up, and so crazy. We just got a DM from what's her name, Amanda, was it? I don't know.
I think her name, I don't know what her last name is, but Amanda, she kind of manages the
Was she
booking
from
of all the bands for Rockville.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can't remember her last name, but they had played us on the DWP Presents, and we didn't end up winning a spot on like the actual like the list, the unsigned list. But it was just as soon as they had heard our song, like I could tell they were vibing it, and they were like, "Hey, someone like Amanda, DM this band right now, get them on Rockville." And we're just like, what?
Yeah, we were like,
in 5 minutes,
wow.
We had a DM from Amanda, and she was like, "Hey, I want to offer you guys to play Rockville. Can you do it?" And we're like, "Yeah, sure." So then we had a contract and an email within like 3 days.
Yeah.
It was so
Wow.
fast out of nowhere. Like, yeah.
They did that live on like camera and stuff. They were like, "Yo,
Yeah.
DM these guys now." That's crazy.
Yes, it was
That's
live
crazy,
on.
crazy,
It was live
crazy.
on the show, and I was like, "No way!" Like,
That's the
Wow.
whole contest.
right place, right time. Like, yeah.
Wow. And this is what, in the span of a week or something, right? Like,
Yeah, literally, this
you
all
know,
happened in like a couple days. Like, we submitted our song "Modified," our newest song "Modified." It was just a
Yep.
lyric video for that. I just submitted that just to get their thoughts. I wanted to know what they thought of it
Of
and
course.
just see where we would fall in the ranking, I guess, for the unsigned charting. And again, like we said, we didn't get to just a spot on that, but we did get Rockville out of it, which was
yeah.
a big plus, which we were not expecting at all. So it was a really nice surprise. It all just happened so quickly, and we're super blessed and very fortunate to DWP Presents and Amanda and everyone over there.
Yeah. That's incredible. And, something that size and impact this close to home for you guys, I mean, that's got to feel incredible. Do you have a fan bus like all lined up? Like, oh, hey, let's go, you guys.
Dude. Yeah, no, I mean, it's just incredible. It's like something that it's kind of like in the bucket list, right? Like a festival or like touring with a big act or
Absolutely.
just something. And yeah, just getting this opportunity is incredible. And we're super excited and we're going to kill it.
You're going to kill it.
You guys are
Absolutely.
gonna crush it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
doubt in
we've
my
never
mind.
played a festival. This is our first festival, so what
Yo.
a festival to come
Hey.
out swinging with, I guess, right?
Like,
Well,
what?
you probably played a ton of shows. Just picture it like another show, man.
Yeah.
I know, that's how we have to think about it. Our
Mhm.
biggest show previously was a House of Blues we had played here in Orlando, it was a pretty nice show, but even still, it's like it's going to be different for us from like playing like 250 like cap rooms, 300 cap venues to like going to Rockville, but like
Just
you
a
said,
couple more people, that's all.
yeah, just a couple more.
Yeah.
I think it comes down to just the confidence of us practicing and feeling good, which I think we've been really honing in the set lately, which is feeling really good and it's helping a lot. Yeah.
It's
That's
something,
awesome.
man. It's definitely, it's a super crazy transition, though. I can't tell you that I know what that feels like, just because even previously off camera when we talked about all the touring and stuff that I've done,
Yeah.
I've never actually played a show to more than like 300, tops 400, unless you count Warped Tour, but even then,
Absolutely.
Ernie
Right.
Ball stage,
Yeah,
nosebleed thing. So that's really cool. So it's fun to like talk to a band that's about to do that. And you can vicariously live through them, you know,
Yeah.
what's happening. So that's cool. And I have no doubt you guys will absolutely crush it, you know?
Dude,
Yeah.
thank you so much. Yeah,
Yeah.
excited. Yeah, we're prepping. We're working hard, and like Jeremy was saying, we're just getting confident with the set. And then once that happens, it's just like it's just another show, and then
Yeah.
just putting a performance on for the fans. So
Yeah.
I think the best part about it is we're all such good friends, and I really feel like I'm going out there with my brothers. So it's like the amount of support I just feel from every member going up on stage really helps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And bringing that confidence. Being able to do what we do live every time.
That's a huge thing, man. Jeremy, that's a huge thing that you say, because here's the thing. If you cannot get along with your bandmates and you just can't stand each other, and there's plenty of bands that's a thing for them. That's a
Yeah.
reality. Dude, I mean, you're not really going to get that far, and eventually the further you get, the more legalized the issues get. Does that make sense what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
People start
Oh,
throwing
yeah.
legalities around. It gets so ridiculous, and you kind of forget and lose sight of why the hell you even started playing music in the first place.
Right.
yeah,
It becomes like politics and not just like
Yeah.
a bunch of dudes just like
Not trying to find
playing
resolve. I
music
mean,
together.
yeah,
Yeah.
when you're in a band, you might have issues, but if you guys all get each other, you're like, okay, well, let's sit down and solve this,
yeah,
kinda-
we'll
yeah.
work through it, and yeah, I can only imagine the more the bigger you start getting, the more like it turns into like a politics game, like just legalizing stuff, and that has to be like tough. But fortunately, with the band, like we've always been brothers, you know what I mean? And like, yeah, sure, we've disagreed on things, but at the same time, at the end of the day, we know why we started this band, and we just love making music together. So we always come to a resolution and compromise or whatever it is. But like Jeremy was saying, it just breeds confidence because you guys are, going up together and like, encouraging each other. And like maybe Jeremy tells me or like hypes me up to try something I would never do, but I did it. And it's like, fuck, like I wouldn't have done that before, you know what I mean? But even now, like, just vice versa with everybody. And yeah, it's great. We're excited. Yeah.
Exactly. So on the topic of trying out different things and stuff musically, so I noticed the progression from like your first set of releases until now.
Yeah.
And
It is pretty apparent.
It is pretty apparent.
It's not quite the elephant in the room.
Personally, look for that in bands. Like I look for that in bands. What drove the change for you guys, other than like not really wanting to write the same album twice or the same set of singles twice?
Man, I think a lot of it, apart from just like the whole like switching our sound up and like trying new things on each record, I think Jeremy and I vocally really, I wouldn't say we started to find ourselves between Deep Down and Everything in my mind, and that was a big part of our sound. You know what I mean? Developing, like, especially for me, like I know if you probably go to Living Fiction and then go to hear me on Everything in My Mind, I probably sound like a totally different rapper or whatever the hell.
Night and day, yeah.
It's like,
it is, yeah.
Yeah. Because like at the beginning, I didn't know, like the band didn't start with initially being like, okay, we're going to be a rap rock thing. I kind of tried it one time and the guys were like, yo, this is tight, do it. And I was just like, okay, like the only thing I know is Linkin Park.
Yeah.
And I did that. And I always listened to hip hop back in the day, but I never really tried to be a rapper, emulate, or study the craft until like we started getting to the Deep Down era. And then I personally was like, yo, like I love Mike Shinoda. I love everybody that does rap rock, but I want to find my own identity in this space. So I think a lot of, our growth and our, us developing our sound had to do with, potentially Jeremy and I just really finding who we are as vocalists and like, switching up our sound. And developing that, because you really don't know, you're just kind of experimenting, you know what I'm saying, until you really land that thing where you're just like, yeah, okay, like this is me. Like I feel authentic. I feel like it's not me trying to be a Mike Shinoda or like, I don't know, whoever else, like a POD, you know what I mean? It's like, no, this is me. And that took time, you hear the progression over the records, and then obviously just our music tastes are everywhere. Like Josh loves EDM, metal. Jeremy loves fucking like pop. I love hip hop and like everything. And Alec
loves like a lot of older rock.
Yeah, and like you combine that.
And, that kind of era, yeah.
Yeah,
wow.
I could hear that. I could hear that in the productions, and you guys' production, even from the older to the newer stuff. I can hear it. The influences, like the pop influences, the hip hop influences, like they're clearly like worn on your sleeves,
Oh, yeah.
And that's really cool that you say that you're just trying to find yourself vocally and you didn't intend to be a rap rock band. And honestly, it would be unfair to even call you that right now. I think like you're not a rap rock band. You're just a band. You're just musicians making music. Like putting like a genre like that, it's ridiculous, especially when you didn't even start like that. So that's cool, and I think it's a natural progression that you guys are doing. That's why you're pulling it off. That's rap rock is cool, whatever, but like I find a lot of it really cringe. Not gonna lie.
Insult them a little more to their face here, Javi.
I didn't get that a little bit from you guys at all. Like it felt. That's why I asked that question, because it felt really natural. Like
right.
From the mind of a producer, I would have been like, shit, I would have thrown a rap part in there too. You know what I mean? It wasn't forced. It was like, I would have done that.
Right. It's a very natural poppy sound, and it flows. Like
I agree.
It's not like the cringe comes from like, ooh, you really stuck those bars in there? Like that's not that didn't like.
But it feels forced or something like that, or does it feel natural?
Okay, let me bring this feature in and like, that didn't hit it right.
Yeah, we never sit down with a song either, and like we're not like, okay, this is gonna be a rap rock song. It just authentically happens to be like, if we hear the song or like I instantly get an idea to rap on it, I'm like, okay, this needs rap, like I'll rap on it. But if it's like just feels like a sing song, like we'll just do that. You know what I mean? It's not like something we sit down and calculate. This next 3 songs have to be rap rock songs, like whatever the hell.
Yeah.
Which I agree with you. I agree with you. Yeah, like the rap rock thing is like, obviously we're gonna get it because any rock band that has a little bit of rap in it, it's like, oh, you're Linkin Park, you're rap rock or whatever.
Yeah.
But we're just music, dude. You know what I mean? That's what it is.
I think anybody that really and this doesn't have to be a audio professional or an A&R or anything like that, but just anybody that really loves music and really gets it, they can feel the authenticity in it all, and they can feel how transparent it can or can't be. I'm telling you right now, I didn't get any kind of weird cringe vibes at all from the rap parts in your music. I didn't get anything. It all felt natural, like a natural thing. And that's really cool, that because I was going to ask you, like, how is your writing process when it comes to this stuff? Because how do you do it? Do you just decide this song is going to have this in it and that in it? And you just said no. It just kind of happened. So that's awesome to me. I think that's a lot of gold right there. And that's great advice for especially younger bands to kind of hear. as they're coming up and they're trying to write music, because it's what serves the song. You're serving your song. You're not really trying to just force shit onto it, and then that's where I feel like most people just lose it, But I do want to know a little bit more about how does like your writing process start, and has it stayed the same as back in 2014 when you guys started, or is it now somewhat changed since you found a little bit more into yourselves? You've come a little bit more into yourselves. Sorry, that kind of stuff. Like, talk about that a little bit.
So I think a lot has definitely changed and a lot has stayed the same. I think we experiment with a lot of new ways of trying songs, but there's still like tried and true methods of the way we make music that kind of like still gets us creative like the way it used to. The way we originally started actually as a band was writing remotely, because Raul, we all went to high school together, at least me, Alec, and Raul. And Raul had moved to Boston for a little while after high school.
Boston.
Alec moved to Boston, and Alec moved to like Orlando. For those that don't know, which is like an hour and a half, 2 hours away from like Tampa area. So we were kind of all spread out. So when we decided to do music, it was kind of all digitally and assembling stuff that way. Very lend itself to a COVID environment, actually, well before well before the time. But so we're used to writing our own kind of way in our own ways in our own studios and collaborating online any way we can. So our process typically will come from any sort of instrumental Raul makes. Like Raul just likes to crank out instrumentals, and this could be anything from like a minute long idea, 30-second loop, to like a full instrumental thing that he just cooks up. It all depends on like, I guess how he's how far he can take a song or an idea in a given moment. And most of the times it's throwing melodies and ideas on top of that. That's typically how most of our songs come together, but we've had songs come together in a multitude of ways. I've sent Raul just a video of me singing, playing guitar, and then he makes a whole song out of that. There's been some times where like Alec will send a chord progression or some weird texture to Raul, and he'll make a song that way. We'll grab stuff off of Splice now. Splice is a really good resource for us to also for bands too. If you just are feeling creatively tapped and don't want to make anything, grab a sample off Splice, throw it into your DAW, make something cool, remove the sample, and you've got a great song without even using any Splice sample. That's a great way to stay inspired. That's a really like tried and true way lately we've been kind of using to get us creative and to get us a lot of times too, our brains will move faster than our hands. So if we just hear something cool in Splice, it can just get us moving quicker than like sitting down and trying to make something from scratch. You have your days, but the process has mainly stayed the same. It's mainly us making instrumentals, putting vocals over that, refining the lyrics as those vocals get added to it. We sing blah, blah, blahs, all that stuff until we find the lyrics. But yeah, it's roughly stayed the same.
That's cool.
Throughout the years. Yeah.
Okay, it's just stayed the same, but you guys have kind of come into your sound a little bit more and progressed, like your sound has progressed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. And then everybody in the band, well, you said you and Raul, but like besides you two, anybody else in the band is savvy with like production and stuff?
It's Alec and Josh are more so like big idea guys. So they'll like Alec, like Jeremy was saying, Alec would send me like a memo of him playing a chord progression. I'm like, ooh, I like that. And then they just start little seeds and they can give us ideas in that way. And then like Josh is more so like he can hear a full song and he'll go in with the drums. And then if he has ideas while he's like working on drums, he'll like cut it up and like do this, like, yo, I added this or something like that. But as far as like foundationally, yeah, it's like more so I'll start the idea and then the guys just kind of grab it and then we form it into what Nevertel is. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
that makes total sense. I mean, it really does help when you're able to do that. You're able to just build a track out of nothing and bounce ideas out of each other like that. That's a foreign thing to bands now because it became a thing during COVID, but you guys were, I guess the word is privy to that way before.
Yeah. Like it didn't hit that. Like, I mean, obviously the pandemic was crazy and it was rough for everybody, but like as far as like for the music, it really didn't change much for us. Like that was what we were doing already, you know.
That was
And
your thing. Yeah.
that was
You
already what we
were you were cool before it was cool. I mean, it's like being on MySpace before, you know.
Zooming before Zoom was cool, bro.
You're right.
Literally.
Exactly.
Yeah. We were on that Skype train for so long.
Oh
before
my God.
Zoom, doing our Skype.
Yeah, we did
sessions.
Skype.
The early
Yeah.
Dear Untitled podcast that I had was all Skype. I'm like, do you have Skype? And it, you know, the more it went on,
Yeah.
people were like, Skype? Who uses that? Like,
Yeah, that's rough now. Trying to get someone to use Skype.
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, you start dating yourself. You're like, what's Skype?
Was Skype,
Yeah.
God, bring back
Dude,
AIM, bring back, oh God.
like MySpace.
And also, just to touch up on last point I wanted to make about like self-producing and stuff. Do you guys mix your own music as well? Because I've noticed it sounds great, man. Like, there's no like, you could kind of tell when somebody who's like new at it did it or whatnot. But I don't get that at all. Like, your shit sounds good, man.
Dude, thanks. Yeah. The previous record I mixed it, and then I mixed Living Fiction, and James Paul Wisner mixed Deep Down. But all the singles from Deep Down on and the record I mixed, and yeah, like
And, what's that? Also Rewired as well.
oh yeah, Rewired too. Yeah, so
Modified.
yeah. So I appreciate that. That
Wow.
means a lot because like
Yeah.
I would sit here and like break my head against the wall, being like, bro, this snare, when I know no one would really care.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're
But,
the
like,
only one who's
he
going to hear.
mastered. He mastered a lot of the songs too. I think we only had.
Oh yeah.
I don't think on Everything in My Mind we only had someone master one track. Is that?
We had Ted Jensen master
Yeah,
All I
Ted-
Need, and then
Ted mastered All I Need, and
Tyler
then Tyler Smith
did Back
did
on Me.
on Me.
Yeah.
Did the rest. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, so you've worked with some names. I mean, Ted Jensen's arguably the best mastering engineer in the game.
Yes.
So good.
James Paul Wisner. I mean, he's awesome. I haven't heard much from him in a while, but like he's awesome. He's done some iconic shit too.
Yeah,
Stand
dude.
Atlantic. If you've heard that.
Did he do that?
Yeah, he
I
mixed them. Yeah.
New Stand Atlantic. I was very impressed. I had no idea until he told us. Yeah.
I have not actually have not even heard Newsstand Atlantic. I need like a
good.
song so I could listen
Yeah.
to it and see what he's been up to. But I was a fan of his work back in the days. I believe he did Paramore at one point too, right?
Yeah. Early Paramore, Under Oath,
Before
Dashboard
Bendis got it,
Confessional.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
He's an OG, man. Like we owe him a lot because, you know, he taught us a lot because we actually went into the studio and worked with him for Deep Down, and man, that guy just so much wisdom and knowledge and just really helped us refine ourselves as songwriters and producers and all that stuff, because I wouldn't be where I'm at production wise if it wasn't for James, you know,
Or he
teaching me.
mentored you,
Right. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, just like all the things when I was there, I literally turned sponge mode on. Like I don't know what it was. I was just soaking all of it in because like I knew that it would be like, you know, maybe I'm sure we're gonna work with James, as we always do, like at some capacity, whether it's writing or production, or whatever, or mixing. But
Yeah, he did some stuff with us. He helped with Everything in My Mind for a few songs.
he did some songwriting for that too. He helped us with just structuring and like that's what I'm saying. Like he has this. He's just that guy outside of the band that knows the band very well, though, but that we really trust because he's like we've worked with him a lot. So
Yeah. I was actually
yeah.
going to ask if that was kind of a happenstance one-off. You go there, but that's cool that you've continued the relationship. You know that you have that,
Yeah.
and that's really cool.
yeah, we value that relationship a lot, and he's just like I said, he's literally like just dropped so much knowledge and wisdom on us that we appreciate him a lot, and we're gonna work with him in the future because I'm actually trying to step away from the mixing a little more for these new releases because I just want to dial in on creative and like production and just songwriting. So
Yeah, I know the feeling.
What
You
happened?
could, yeah, I know the feeling. I'm the same way as you, except that with snares, for me, it's kick drums. Like, I'm like the opposite of you, dude.
Kick
I'm just
10.
like, come on, this is not the right one. You know, I know the feeling, dude. I like I said, you know, I do this too. It's a pain. But like yourself, I was lucky enough to be mentored by someone that's that's doing things. And another name you dropped was Tyler Smith. Man, he's killing it with that falling in reverse stuff.
yeah, dude, yeah, I'm really proud of him, man. I'm really happy for him. He also was another big contributor to just like being an influence and like being a mentor to me as well. Production wise, him and James, I can say, were really big. Just like people that were there for me that really just helped me, or even really, like, it wasn't more so they were like, okay, this is what you have to do to make the sound. It was more so here, check this out, here, check this out. And it would make me be like, try to reverse engineer and be like, dude, how did you do that? Like, and I would just sit there and it would just make me want to be better. And Tyler was really one of those guys that I would always hear stuff from him, and we've worked together on a lot of things, but like he was a big contributor to just making me want to get better. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
Of course.
Plus,
that's all it always is.
From the outside looking in, like, look, I'm basically a journalist. I mean, I love music. I have a passion, but knowing engineers and you guys, like, when you hear something, you're like, oh, wait, the gears, I see the look in Javi's eyes every time. He's like, oh, wait a second. It just starts going. Like, you see the steam pour out, and you're like, I can do that. I know I can do that. You'll lose sleep over it. Teleporting?
Yep. Yeah, we teleport. Like, Jeremy and I, like, if we get an idea, you'll just see us, like, stare into abyss. Like, you know what I mean? Just, and that's when you know, like, shit's, like, happening.
Gears are turning, yep.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's really cool. Since Everything in My Mind, it was, 2021 that came out, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You've definitely been leaning into a strong remix aspect to your music, which is really cool. I am a sucker for all the remixes coming out across the board. Metalcore, everything. Like, it's just one of those, like, added, I don't know, it's probably my brain, just the ADD, like, oh my God, I need some noise. But
Stimulation. I need overstimulation.
Yeah, right, exactly. So, you know, you had Rewired, you had recently with your latest single, you had Modified _Hyper. You know, I joked with a buddy, I was like, oh man, they just dropped 3 remixes of their own song. I want to see if there's more, you know, it's like, I'm curious, you know, what guests they're going to pull in. So can you speak?
Real quick.
Go ahead,
a
Javi.
Nightcore version of one of them?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, cool. I just wanted to verify that. Continue.
Yeah. Yeah, like,
bro.
there's so much variety there. Like, what pulled that into your arsenal? I mean, that's a deep question, I know.
That actually might be more you, Raul, because I know Raul leans heavily into the remixes. He does most of the remixes, if not all of them, especially on Rewired. I think we only outsourced for 2 of them, and Raul did the rest.
Yeah, yeah. 2 or 3 of them. Yeah.
And then for Hyper, again, he did Hyper as well, and then the No Reverse remix. So tell them a little bit about that, because I know you have a lot of influences there.
Yeah, it's like obviously I'm a huge fan of Linkin Park, and I love when they did the reanimation, and that was just huge and dope for me. I just loved hearing other vocalists on the songs and just hearing the songs reimagined like differently.
Yes.
You know? And I was always a big fan of that. And then obviously Bring Me, I think they did a record where it was just the weirdest record. It wasn't even remixes, but it was just like this vibe record. I forget what it was called. It was after Ammo.
It was the really long title one.
Yeah, whatever it was. Yeah,
dude, it was like a trip. I kid you. I put it on and I was like,
what?
Where did Bring Me go? Where did? This is Ollie's mental space.
Yeah. Like, dude. Yeah. So I mean, that I've always loved projects like that because it just kind of like leaned towards freedom and just like creativity and not really caring what structure was and just having fun. So I think we just started toying around and I did one of the remixes and it turned out cool for After Everything in My Mind. And then, dude, I just got this bug where I just kept doing it. And then I would grab other songs and I'd try them out and I'd be like, oh my God, here's another one. Here's another one. Here's another one. And then, like, you know, we outsourced, I think, Andromeda. I don't know if you guys know him, but Ramon. He's fantastic. And I had sent him the vocals for All I Need. And I was like, dude, like, what if we did a remix, but it was metal? Like, that's weird. Like, you think it'd be EDM, but it's metal. So he killed that. And then our buddy Joey, his name's Glide. His artist name's Glide, and he did the Back on Me remix, which is incredible, phenomenal. Like
one of my favorites.
Yeah, he sincerely bodied that. Like, he just on it. He killed it. So yeah, man, it's something that's fun to do, and you have all this creative freedom. And also, if you're a band out there just starting out, like, you know, you can drop music, and I don't think there's a problem with reimagining your own songs because I think your fans will also be into that too. You know, you know, they want to hear different, and it's more content for your fans, and you know, you get to push yourself more in the algorithm on Spotify. I mean, it doesn't have to be the only reason why you do it, but I mean, it's just a cool bonus to doing more remixes. And we love doing it. That's why, like, I heard like Modified. It's funny because I heard the Nightcore version of Modified on YouTube, and I was like, bro, that's kind of tight. Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
But I like this. I was like, why don't we just do it like I'll go in production wise and I'll actually like do it properly so it doesn't sound warped and phased. And I actually and it came out sick, and we were just like, just put it out, like fuck it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
yeah.
You gave me an idea.
Dude, go ahead.
I used to love Nightcore. I used to fuck with it super hard, and then I don't know, somewhere along the way I just kind of fell off, and now it's like you guys did it. I'm like, oh shit, hold on, hold on.
It's back,
Yeah.
baby.
This is good.
Back, baby.
Yeah,
I
dude.
honestly had the idea. 'Cause I think I saw, if I'm not mistaken, there's a band called Nightlife. You guys heard of a band called Nightlife?
They sound
I think
familiar.
they did a Nightcore version of a song, and I was like, that's sick. And then we saw that version. I never thought about maybe releasing something like that, like actually through like DSPs and through Spotify and Apple Music and all that stuff. And then when Raul had sent me the Nightcore version of the modified track, we're like, dude, we should just
do it.
release our own. Like,
just drop it, man.
Again,
Just
this is
do
so
it.
sick.
Yeah.
Something about that song, like sped up and high pitched like that just worked so well, especially with the anime visuals that it was edited to. Like it just it was perfect. And we're like, dude, people have to hear it. It's like this is so cool.
Yeah, it's good call on that. Good call on that. And what I'm noticing from you guys is you guys are very like cool about collaborating with people and stuff. That's often I think that's something that in especially in our world of music, right? Like rock, metal, metalcore, whatever, you know, these alternative genres. I feel like that's a thing that is kind of lost, right? And you know, I see that in Latin music, I see that in hip hop, I see it in pop. Everybody collaborates, everybody releases on each other's stuff. You know, everybody kind of wins together, right? And that's something that I wish more bands, you know, in our world would have that mentality. And I'm really glad that you guys do. I can see that you guys are collaborating with different people. You said Andromeda earlier. So I met him at NAMM, probably doesn't remember me. It was a very brief conversation. Super chill guy, though. And then I really dug in that last, remember the contest for the Cyberpunk that just happened, Nick?
Mm-hmm.
He had an entry on it.
He did.
And it was really sick.
Oh.
It was really sick.
I didn't hear that.
We had one too,
good.
but I guess none of us made it. So it was
I did
super
not.
sick. Though.
Sorry. I definitely did not make it. Dude, I lean into that hard. I'm like, look, I wish I could write music. You guys are talented as hell. So, you know, we're at the point, I guess, I should stop tripping over my words here. It's my favorite part. We're at the point of, you know, what this show is really about. You know, it's about your influences. We've leaned into it. You guys sent us music of what, you know, a couple songs just that we can talk about. Listeners will hear that throughout the show. You know, it's in a radio format. I just want to know your thoughts on, you know, these songs, these artists, you know, how did it impact your growth? How did it bring you to either where, you know, you are now as a band or where you personally just came into music? You know, I think a couple of those questions were answered already just by mention of the artists. But the first track you guys put was Teardrops by Bring Me. I mean, Bring Me's massive and Bring Me's
My
great.
favorite song from Bring Me.
Yes.
But
So
I kind of want to know your thoughts on, you know, why this track.
Dude, for me, just I just love Bring Me the Horizon. I swear, I'm like one of like to me, they are a band like Linkin Park that, I mean, they don't do the rap thing or whatever, but they are just a band that innovates and they're not scared to try things, and they make rock sound so polished and pop, and dude, they're phenomenal. And definitely when they drop, it's like that moment for me personally where I listen to the song, I'm like, bro, I suck. Like, and I love that feeling because it makes me want to like make a song so bad. But
There goes Teleport.
Teleporting means listening. Yeah.
Bring Me is just, to me, is just amazing. So
It is interesting. The more we have talked about it today, the more I kind of look back, and I don't know if a lot of people put this together or I'm just putting this together now, but Linkin Park's trajectory of what they transformed through. They tried everything. You know, they paved that path quite a bit. And it was concurrent with Bring Me, but Bring Me has hit another phase. You know, they were deathcore,
Yeah,
and now they are what? You know, it's
they're like collaborating with Ed Sheeran. Like,
Right.
what? How do you?
yeah, and he'll still pull out some of those songs. It's like, what are you doing, dude? So it's one of those. Yeah, I'm right there on the same page. Bring me. It's hard to see them doing wrong, and it's just amazing the talent. But
I've literally followed them since their first record. First song I heard from them was for Stevie Wonder's "Eyes Only."
Oh wow.
That's when it was called that before they changed it to Braille.
Right.
wow.
And just hearing the growth and seeing them go from there to where they are now. I've never been with a band that long, with any other band that long, other than Linkin Park. But even still, like I was pretty young when I discovered them, and they'd already been out for like a little while longer. Like I was a little too young when I think Hybrid Theory first came out. I think I caught it a little bit later, but they're one of those bands that I've watched them and heard them grow, and I've never pressed play on a song and been like, ugh, that's weird. I don't like that, you know, like,
Right.
Yeah.
and there's not a lot of bands that can do that, like, and hold my attention through multiple releases. Either like I get stale of the same sound for too long, or a band takes too far left field of a turn and I just can't follow that same path. That just like Bring Me has consistently pushed that boundary, and just found a way to innovate the rock space and keep me creative my entire life. Yeah. So yeah, that's why it's one of those bands that has they just get it. They just do it for me.
Yep.
Did you boys listen to I don't know if it was them that they put it out, or it was like a DJ friend of theirs that put it out, but it was like an entire EDM album of their heavy stuff.
Oh, really?
It was everything was remixed, or
You didn't even tell me about
a portion
this.
of their songs. Yeah, it's old. It's super old.
Oh, dude, I haven't heard about that. I gotta check it out.
Dig it. We'll have to dig it out. I'm pretty sure that it exists, and I'm not tripping. I'm pretty sure.
God, I hope so.
I remember hearing it.
I tell you this
to it.
all the time. Again, I'm a sucker for the remixes. Like the Asking Alexandria Stepped Up and Scratched album is like what I don't know. My brain just defaults to that. Like that was kind of like the trigger point for me, I guess. And that's one of those things of like, yo, if there's remixes of that stuff, let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that record was great. I think Suicide Season did a remix as well. I think
that was it.
Yes, it was like it was like the Bloody Girl, but it was green instead of red.
Okay.
Yeah,
it was like straight up. I think it was that one. It's like all EDM though.
Yeah. I think I have heard that. It's been so long since I've heard that record again. But like,
all right,
the era for the metalcore EDM remixes. Yeah, I was a big fan of it. I was a big fan.
Confirmed.
Keep that pulse running, right?
Yes. Dubstep and metal, I didn't realize up until that point how well it worked together, and then at that point I was like, there's no rules. There's literally no rules anymore.
Yeah. And I'm glad the trajectory of everything has embraced that. You know, you hit the mid-teens of the 2000s and you're like, okay, it's out the window. There's no more scene. You know, we're not crowdcoring anymore.
No.
Not cool.
No one listens to just metal anymore. Like,
right.
You know, everyone's listening to a little bit of everything because everyone's collaborating with everyone and blending genres and blurring the lines, and I love that.
Yeah, I support that fully too.
Yeah,
I support that fully.
So
Let's talk about that second one.
Yeah, another really talented artist. I believe we
forgetting all the songs that you're literally gonna be reminding me of the song.
So Swim by Chase Atlantic.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, nice.
Another incredible band. It's funny. You're like, oh yeah, I put that one there. But obviously, Chase Atlantic is big. I mean, inspirational for many.
Yeah, Chase is their style and just their vibe. I think is just so interesting, and they've vocally, I think, have inspired us. You know, they're just awesome to listen to. Like, to me, it's just a vibe. Like, every time I put Chase on, I feel like a badass, bro. Like, I don't know what it is. You know what I mean?
Just
like,
make me feel cooler than I am. Yeah.
like Chase, they're really goated in just like doing the hip hop rock thing. It's not even rock. I don't know what it is, but dude, whatever.
They rock live. Like, they don't obviously on the records do it, but then live you see them and like they've got the drummer and the guitarist and they're like playing and they're like reimagining their songs as rock songs live that you wouldn't think would have rock, but they had this rock sensibility still, even as these like hip hop or like electronic like pieces. I love their creativity with electronic music. I think they realized too that they were maybe in a box with rock music and they couldn't be as creative as they wanted to be. So like they kind of switched to primarily releasing electronic type music with a rock feel blended within it. I think one of my favorite songs is Paranoid by them. It's just kind of got a little bit of that rock blend with their Chase Atlantic sound, and there's just something about them, and every release they do is just like, you know, whether it's a slow song like Her or it's like a crazy song like Out the Roof, like I'm with everything they do.
Dude. Yeah.
I'm with it all. And I love their diversity. I love the diversity they have too. Yeah.
Same. I love everything about that band. There's not a single song I have heard that I've been like, this sucks.
Yeah,
That's what happened with them.
Dude.
It's a do not skip band. Yeah.
No.
But there's you gave two more.
I did. Okay.
And they're both, you know, we discussed it briefly. Breaking Benjamin, I Will Not Bow. So obviously that's not immensely relevant for your sound now, but it started the journey.
It did.
Yeah, dude. It did. Yeah.
We started out as an alternative rock band, basically. Like we were going to basically be like an extension of those types of bands. Like when you're starting out with music and releasing music, you emulate a lot, right? And I think those are the kind of bands you're looking to emulate. Was like, you know, Breaking Benjamin, 3 Days Grace. What's another one? Maybe Red, something like that.
Yeah.
All the alternative rock bands, man. Like
all that alt active rock fucking stuff.
I love Seether too. Back in the day, they were like part of that alt rock. Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
One of my buddies just said he saw them in Texas this summer, and like on a festival or something. He was like, they were actually pretty good. I just wish, like, you know, for Broken, Amy Lee was there. And I was like, I get that. But
Amy Lee.
Damn, that was a 94.9 Zeta thing. All those bands.
Yeah.
You guys ever heard of Bonsai? Like way back in the days. No, that was like Beef Festival. That was like the Rockville now. Back in like 2003, 4. I was still in high school when that happened. So, but I was just like very into that stuff. And my first concert ever was Bonsai. I like got snuck in.
There you go.
That's pretty cool. Underage kid, bro.
Let's go.
But I saw 3 Days Grace there with Adam still.
Oh, man.
Slayed it, dude. Seven Dust, I think, played one of them too. Like all these bands, man, from that era. Like there's a lot to be like. There's a lot of influence to pull from that. There is a lot of influence to pull from that, and a lot of people don't realize it either. They think that they're pulling influence from somebody else that's actually pulling from them.
Right.
It's a weird conundrum, man. But it's crazy
that's music.
That is music.
Yeah.
It is music.
Yeah.
Drummers of those bands were the unsung heroes, man. Like me and Raul were talking recently with the drummer of Breaking Benjamin. Oh my god,
dude, Chad is so good, bro. Like,
was he in the band from the jump, or is he one of the ones? That
he was a part of the original set of members, and then like Ben, I guess they had some legal stuff happen that, you know, I don't know what happened, but now he has a whole new band. But I mean, the core Breaking Benjamin before, not that it's bad now, it's a fantastic still. Ben is always great. Like he's a great songwriter, but like, dude, that like Diary of Jane, I Will Not Bow, I forget what the first record was, but that era was so cold, dude. Oh my god.
Obia or whatever they're called.
Yeah, man.
Dance with the Devil, great song.
The angst and the darkness that Ben brought to Breaking Benjamin was just like, it's beautiful.
I like the, I don't know if it's a new record anymore, but I like the one record that had that Red Cold River song. It kind of went back to those roots a little bit.
Oh yeah, Red Cold. That was I think that was part of the newer stuff. Which like I said, dude, like you know what you're gonna get with Breaking Benjamin, and it's fantastic, and I love it.
I always wonder how kids get through like middle and high school now without that like being so prevalent, you know. Breaking Ben is not extinct at this point. Don't take that incorrectly, but you know, it's just like, you know, you don't have 3 Days Grace dropping a banger record every couple of years and you're like, oh, this is my personality, you know, like.
No, they're still doing it, man. They're still doing it. A lot of these like rock bands from that era are still killing it. So like, I mean, Dude, where do I start? Look at bands like Shinedown. They're still
Oh
absolutely
my gosh,
killing it,
Shinedown's
dude.
massive.
Shine
Yeah.
got even bigger like throughout the time. It's like,
They're
And,
one of the
like,
biggest rock bands.
what
Disturbed.
are y'all gonna get?
Like I don't hear much about them, but they're still like
Yeah, bro.
so insanely huge.
They're
So it
topping
just goes to
charts
show you,
left
you
and
don't
right.
need to be like literally on everyone's mind and on TikTok and buzzing all the time to really have a fan base and do the thing.
Right.
So.
No,
Right.
I agree. Completely agree. I
But
mean,
look,
rock
after
bands-
as long as they've been in the game, I would hope they wouldn't have to do all
Yeah.
that buzz. But
Yeah,
you know,
Things
nobody
didn't go so well for Trap though. You know?
he played like a 2-person show recently. I think. No,
What,
Yeah.
bro?
no, I know, I know
They
there
just
was.
play the one song for legal purposes. I will not say the name. Of the song,
Right,
but
yeah.
The one song is right over
It's like when they play when they do the Shrek All Star mashups on different loops. It's got to be very similar, right? Right?
Funny. They had the Nightcore remix, the EDM
Yeah.
A hip hop version, fuck, a salsa version.
salsa version, bro.
Oh my gosh.
Got to get Kid Rock on one of those versions, bro.
Oh, I have.
Speaking of, I was legitimately at his bar like 2 days ago
Yeah.
His bar?
in Nashville. Yeah, I just came
Really?
back. I just came back from a writing trip. I was out there and we went to his bar downtown.
Chilla?
Dude, it's actually popping, man. It's always jumping in there.
Yeah.
They had
Kid Rock nonstop, all in a loop. No.
no, they had a live band playing, but these guys.
I don't know if it'd be that popular.
Members of
because-
different big bands.
Dude, hell yeah.
Yeah,
That's cool. That's
like the
cool.
keyboard player was the keyboard player for the band Poison.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
So like that old '80s metal band. I mean, they're still doing things, you know.
Crickets.
Yeah, it was crazy. The musicianship out there is nuts. The food was sick. I have nothing but awesome things to say about that place. If you're ever in downtown Nashville, like,
Yeah.
if you guys go on tour, go to Broadway, go to that bar.
Yeah, I want to go to Nashville.
Yeah.
It's awesome up there. I love it. I love it. So, just to kind of get back on track, I see you guys have a fourth.
Yeah,
thing.
what was the voice? I can't remember. Oh my god.
So
Is
you
it Arlo
mentioned my
Grimes song?
favorite rapper on it, Joyner Lucas.
It was
Okay.
ISIS.
It was ISIS.
Yeah.
Featuring
ISIS.
Logic by Joyner
Because
Lucas.
Logic's on there. Because the Logic's also important as well. Yeah.
Yep.
Logic's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you
Dude.
guys, in a previous interview I saw, you were like, if I could tour with anyone, it would be Logic.
I don't blame you. I
Crazy
don't blame
tour.
you.
That'd be
Yep.
a crazy tour. Bobby,
Don't blame you.
LOGIC would be funny with us. Yeah, no, we'd have
Yeah.
a good time with him.
We'd have a great time with Bobby. Yeah.
But yeah, dude, Joyner, like I said, like throughout the years, like I started to really wanting to find my own sound as a rapper, and I started really studying the craft, like, you know what I mean, like cadence, lyricism, and just all that. And Joyner, man, is just Joyner and really Logic is someone that I really gravitated towards their music, and just like, I don't know, I just love their lyricism and all that, and they really told a story to me, and it wasn't just some like, you know, just nonsense. It was actually saying something, you know, that was meaningful.
Right.
And from Joyner, if you go through his music videos or whatever, like all his content really has, he's really just, it's just meaningful stuff, and I love it. And yeah, they were a part of my growth as a rapper for me. And like we in the band, you know, some of us listen to hip hop too, and they're just guys that we bump. So yeah, dude, love Joyner. I have a list of rappers that I love and that help me still to this day just kind of get out of a writer's block with hip hop or whatever, you know what I mean? But man, yeah.
It's
great
amazing. And you mentioned it before of, you know, you heard Mike Shinoda and various rappers, and you were like, I want to take influence from them, but I want to be myself. I want to make my own name in this, you know, and it's not, you know, anything other than just pure creativity. I want to do something different, but I want to imitate.
Yeah.
And that's just, that's such a cool thing that you do have that laundry list of like, look, this guy, like, let's go. But
Yeah.
I want to do something different. And that's really like, that's got to just alone push you out of the box.
Yeah, it does. And I know some of our songs really take people for a loop when my parts come in because it is different. If I was a rock head and I listened to our songs sometimes and the switch ups that we did, especially and everything in my mind, I would have been like, whoa, buddy,
Right.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like it's something that I was really proud of, and I thought felt fun and good, and it didn't feel cringy. It was authentic. It felt like just fun to do, and yeah, like I said, it's just finding my own pocket as a rapper in I guess the rock realm that I'm still not saying like this is exactly what I am, but throughout the years has been refining that, focusing that lens and figuring out what that is, and I think that I'm very close to what that is, and I'm confident in my sound, and yeah, these artists have helped me get there.
That's good. That's good. And I think I agree with
awesome.
you with Jordan Lucas's lyrics being insane. Like in lyric writing, man, like just top lining in general is hard as hell as it is. And then writing really good lyrics and meaningful stuff and actually saying something that just word vomiting is super tough. That's that's arguably one of the toughest things that come up for me when writing. When I'm writing for a client or I'm writing with a client or with another producer, that's usually the thing. Is when you get to the top lining part, you're figuring out lyrics. There's so much to red pen. It's crazy, dude.
Yep.
So so I feel you, man, and I think the fact that you're getting through it and you're getting these bars out, I think that's impressive on itself. So you should give yourself a pat on the back. And I love the way that you're looking at it, and all you guys collectively are looking at finding your own sound within this whole fog, and cutting above it, and not trying to copy, but just taking influences, making shit feel natural, not forcing it either. That's awesome. That's a craft in itself that's kind of lost.
Yeah.
I think so, at least. And let's talk about the switch up real quick, though, man. Did you hear that new Falling in Reverse song?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Bars,
Dude,
like,
that
end
song
of
is
story.
yeah.
Story.
Ride. That song is an absolute ride. From
One
start
chorus.
the video, dude, I was like, oh my gosh. Like I sent it to Raul, I was like, bro, this is insane. My man goes full Homelander. And he goes full Homelander by the end of the music video.
Yeah.
One
Insane.
chorus song. That's wild.
And then I got to see it last Sunday live.
Yeah.
Nuts.
You did.
Absolutely
How was
nuts.
it for being the new song? How was it?
It was. I mean, it's like he had it in his show for years. I kid you not. It was that clean.
Wow.
Like
Crazy.
he did
is
so.
incredible.
It right, right, and obviously the balance of stage presence. You do trade off with backing here and there, but it was only maybe a few bars in that whole when he starts going like Eminem style like speed.
Yeah.
He was on it, and I was like, "What am I seeing right now? This is, dude's incredible." I mean, just
Also, the unsung hero, his bassist, backup vocalist, is just
nuts.
insane.
Yeah.
Incredible. I don't know where he found this guy, but my God.
I texted Javi during the show. I was like, "Yo, the backup is as good, if not better, than Ronnie." Like, I don't know how
He's doing everything Ronnie's doing, but also playing bass. And I'm like, dude,
right?
where did you find this man? Like, Ronnie has the best musicians in the world supporting him. Luke Holland on drums.
Oh my God, yeah.
Like,
Well, I
my
mean,
God.
well, that guy, Max Georgiev, I think is his name.
Yeah.
That dude is like fucking prodigy.
lead guitarist. Yeah,
Literally.
yeah.
That guy is a
man.
prodigy. I can vouch for that.
Yeah, he has the best musicians like in the world supporting him too. So
Yeah, and then
insane live show, I imagine.
this is just my fanboyism of Falling in Reverse, but there was a Sirius XM podcast that he actually did that I watched like right after that came out, and he's talking about just what goes into that song and like trying to get the actual timing of everything. Like it is an art, like you both have been saying, like to mesh that, it doesn't repeat, nutty, just absolutely nutty.
Yeah,
Walking
and
that tightrope's hard.
No, yeah, it is. Yeah, and like I'm sure he had to like refine the versions and like go through a couple things to figure out what that final thing was. And yeah, I get that. Just trial and error and.
Yep.
Yeah. No one sounds like Fog in Reverse.
Right.
Yeah.
So, Nevertel's been essentially a fully unsigned DIY project since 2014. And we've talked about it already. You've come a long way on your journey. You've learned a lot. Is there any advice that you would share to young bands listening? Or even someone starting out now hearing you guys talk and say, like, what would you do different? Or, Is there something along the way that you would say, hey, watch out for this?
I would stop chasing a label and just
Yeah, that's for sure.
put out music and let it happen. Like these days, labels they're not going to do as much for you as you could do on your own, and it's much better to come at a position from a position of power and have a back catalog of songs that you already own and have some sort of bargaining power. So don't chase a label. Don't think that that's going to solve all your problems. I think what bands should be focusing on now is just putting out songs, and especially if you're just starting out, make enough song for a record for sure, but don't put out like a record. Don't put out 10 songs at once. Don't put out like 8 songs at once. Like build some momentum, build some hype, space it out a little bit, give the songs their time. The DSPs, all the stuff like that really benefits from that.
Yeah.
And don't fall victim to the I guess the feeding the machine though. Like try to keep your creativity and try to stay true to what you started out originally, which is just putting out music that you enjoy, that you want to hear, that you feel like is not being represented, and just do your thing, take it as far as you can, as long as you can. Don't sweat the label stuff, don't sweat the numbers too much. Just keep your head down, put out music, and support it properly. It can be difficult, I know, like when we were coming up paying for like studio time, but there's definitely, if you have a lot of time in your hands, or you have the means to self-produce and do stuff, it'll take you so far, and you'll be worth so much more. If you can self-produce your own music, like you will go so far. Like all the bands that are getting big deals today and getting signed are like self-producing themselves. So like not being beholden to a producer that is your sound is everything now. So if you can take even a small bit of that control and create your own songs to bring to a producer that can just help you organize them, that does so much. So the more hands-on you can get with your music, the better. For sure.
Great advice.
Yeah.
I hear a lot of bands like really like super going on and like imitating and like putting themselves in a box. It's to me, it's interesting to find what's unique to yourself. You know what I mean? Like, obviously we did that with our music, and it's weird at times, but stepping out of your comfort zone and really finding what makes you will like just you'll have your own identity in this saturated market. You know what I'm saying? Like just be you and be authentic and try new things and try to separate yourself from what everybody else is doing. I see bands time and time and again just kind of just like doing the same thing, not trying anything new, and just being like, well, they're doing it, this is blowing up, let's do that. You know what I mean?
Pop punk is popular, let's make a pop punk record. Like
everybody's following the trend, like we got to do that. It's like, no, make whatever's authentic to you, make that. You know what I mean? Whatever you like really love, and try to be different. And you're like, if you want to do pop punk, great, do it. But like, do something different in it. Like do something, I don't know, whatever that is.
Yeah,
absolutely. I know exactly what you mean too.
You know what I mean? Like it's just
absolutely.
Have your own identity. The whole just sum it up out of my mumble jumble.
No, I get it. That's the one true way to really cut. I keep saying that, cutting above that fog of bands, man. That's the one true way to really doing it, because if you're just joining the army and not really, standing out, then you're gonna fade with the army, Like
100%. So
how many homies do we have that were in bands that did that, and like, look, now they're not doing it,
Yeah.
I'll tell you right now, like if you're like a new band or a new artist, and you can just get in the habit of creating your own music, and if the least you have to do is send it out to get mixed and mastered, like that's it. Like make your own music, send it out to get mixed, mastered, post on TikTok, and you can keep doing that and grow a following online. That right there will get you to quit your job. Like that alone will you'll be able to quit your job without ever leaving your bedroom if you are good about creating music, staying consistent, putting it out consistently, promoting it online, really promoting it, finding a way to get in front of people with videos on TikTok and social media. Like TikTok has changed our life. TikTok and Instagram Reels has literally changed our life. We went from like on Instagram, like 6,000 followers to like 140,000 followers in like a week because of like one or two reels.
Wow.
And we were just putting up a camera in our practice space and filming us practice and layering the tracks over that. That was all we were doing. And our videos, granted, like the needle moves, you have to change up the content. Not the same thing is going to work all the time, but like you can go so far on your own right now. You don't need anybody right now. You don't need anybody. So don't think someone's going to come save you and give you the life that you want. Like you can make that for yourself right now. It's very empowering. And you can get to a position, like I was saying, where you could make an okay living and pay some of your bills off of just making music, putting out online, promoting it, rinse, repeat.
Right.
It's cool. It's cool as hell.
Yeah.
And it's real, and it's possible.
It is.
Look at these guys, just writing music all day. Yeah.
I mean, that's great advice, man. That's honestly great advice, especially for bands coming up right now. So
Yeah. I mean, it took actually one of the questions right out of my mouth about platforms and that, because there's a lot of good conversation and knowledge just exactly like that of bands who start pre-TikTok. It's always a hinge point. TikTok is the latest and greatest. It's pre-TikTok versus post-TikTok. What's that right there? It can carry, and there are a lot of just PR guys that I listen to, and a lot of big names who say exactly that. It can put something out there. You don't know where it will go, but you could just go.
Yeah, and that was our philosophy with it. It's just like we've had these songs and tracks out for a while, but like to the TikTok community or Reels community, like this is new to them. And essentially this is free marketing. And it's like Jeremy was saying, like the artists are the most empowered now. Like the tools are there. You just got to do it. You know what I mean? And just do unique things, even with the marketing. You know what I mean? Music marketing, just try different things and just go. Like it's free. You could post a video on TikTok and just see what happens. Like I remember we were posting 3 times a day. Like I got addicted to that shit. Like I was just like, I'm gonna post fucking 3 times. I don't care. You know what I mean? And
that's great.
Yeah.
But it is that easy, and it's again, it's really cool to have that power. So has that kind of avalanched into you guys kind of building more shows, more tour, defining your markets?
It's definitely helped us define our market a little more, obviously, because we have more data, right? From the more fan base that we have. As far as the touring, I mean, we've got the opportunity of Rockville.
Yes.
I definitely think where we were at socially, like, kind of helped solidify. Also, the song and socially, like everything, the whole package deal was a part of that for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you guys have any shows kind of lined up in the coming year aside from Rockville, or are you still kind of cooking those up and cooking on music?
Yeah, we're cooking. We're definitely cooking right now.
All right. Let this man cook. All right.
Yeah. We're doing it right now.
Let him cook. Yeah.
Coming in and going like, ooh, pepper.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
We've got we've got some really good stuff we're happy with, we're proud of. In terms of shows, we have some things like we're trying for. There's nothing set in stone. Because of Rockville, there's not a lot we can do in Florida. So at least until after Rockville.
Yeah.
So
right.
We'll be if we do play anywhere, it would be outside of Florida before Rockville. And we're actively looking. Our booking agent is actively looking for like opportunities for us to hop on tours, hop on shows, do stuff out of state. So again, nothing super set in stone. We're like in conversations, but we're actively working. We're heads down, really focused on new music and preparing what we think is some of our best stuff for people this year, hopefully. So.
Can't wait to hear it. I definitely am like, I'm definitely now, I'm like hip to you guys' music now. So now I know that you're not a pop punk band like I initially thought when Nick was first like, check out this band.
This
sorry,
is,
there's
mind
just
you,
too-
this is over the
Yeah,
course of like the
MGK
last month or so. You know, when
It
I reached
is
out and I was like, Javi, just
100%.
listen, trust me on this.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's 100% my own ignorance. I will take that on fully.
You're good, man.
But I'm so glad I did jam it, and because
Uh-huh.
I'm now super hooked on it. I think your guys' stuff is incredible, and
Thank
you're
you.
breaking these boundaries constantly. And I know you touched up on it, and it all just comes down to what you were saying about finding your own identity and making things flow and writing what you want to write. And keeping the control of where you're trying to write as much as possible,
Exactly.
or at least some bit of it,
Right.
and maybe teaming up with like a producer that does get it, right? And a mix engineer that does get it, because one thing is mixing your own stuff. I mean, your stuff sounds good, but like another band that might be good at producing might not be good at mixing, so they might need to hire that out.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's not for everyone, but
Mhm.
at least you guys do get it. And that kind of takes me into another question I had. It was like, do you feel like having all those ducks in a row that you talked about is like the definition of being that is the definition of being like a well-oiled machine, but do you think that is also the definition of being like a successful band and artist in today's industry? Like, what is your definition of that exactly? And do you feel like Nevertel maybe is like at that level or getting there or on the right path? Obviously, you probably think you are on the right path to it, and I agree with that thought process. But I just want to hear your guys' take on this.
Yeah, like you said, I think we're on the right path, right? I don't
agree.
think we're there. Obviously, I don't think we're like fully where we want to be, but we're on the right path. We're working towards, like I said, just putting content out and like success. To me, I guess it's what is the word when it's like individualized. Like for me, success with the band would be able, like if I'm able to, maybe I'm taking the question wrong, but this is what I interpreted. For me, it's like if I can make music all day, you know what I'm saying, and like tour and do music, like I'm successful. I'm happy. I'm
Great answer.
You know what I mean? Like I don't need the flashy shit. I mean, sure, if we get it, cool. We get like to that level, lit. Like I'll turn up. I'll go get a Rolex. I don't care. But you know what I mean? Like, bro, if I could pay my rent and all this other shit off of music, and I'm, like connecting with the music, bro. Like what? There's nothing like that to me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that's beautiful, and that's
Make
why.
it a full-time job. Yeah.
Yeah, like to me at least. I don't know what you interpreted, Jerry. Maybe I answered it wrong.
I think
No, that
in
was
playing
exactly
into
it.
that too, and like Raul said, like if this could be your full time thing, then that would be great. And I think a lot of artists need to think about it that way. Is being in a band, while it is the most fun part of being in a band, it is not just making music.
No.
There is so much more that goes into this, and there is so much more you will need to learn in order to be a successful band.
Yep.
And I think you need to wear a lot of hats. And my idea of a successful, what I think a modern day successful band is a band that can write, record, produce. Not at least you don't need to do mixing and mastering. I think that can be done outside, but can write, record, produce their own music, send it out to DSPs, film their own content, edit their own videos, post to social media, knows a little bit about Facebook ads, knows a little bit about marketing, knows a little bit about all the things they're going to need to do to be successful as a band so that they can grow at their own pace. They're not beholden to a label to tell them, okay, well, we need you to fit into third quarter release. And because we have other bands that sound like you that are dropping this year, we can't put as much money into you. So we're going to need you to actually promote yourself harder this year. So that's basically what's going to happen to you. So you need to take into account that if you want to be a successful band, not just, just play music for a living, but that's not all you've been doing. You need to learn to diversify sort of like what you do. And, you got 4 or 5 members in the band, right? So that's not one person has to do all the roles, but I think my idea of a successful band is a band that can take music from start to finish, release that, film content, promote that, and can be self-sufficient without needing a label to some degree. Because again, like the deals don't really come as often as people think. And when you get them at an early stage, they're not great. And you're going to be either signing away a lot of your ownership over your music for an upfront bag that's going to go fast, or you're going to be getting a crappy deal and forgotten about on a label and stuck not releasing music for years and years because you're stuck in a contract. So just whatever you can do to be self-sufficient, whatever you can do to, again, go from that idea of creating the concept, creating the vibe, the idea, and taking that all the way to the videos out, the ads are running, the posts are rolling in, the videos are edited, the social media content's here. We have an idea of email marketing and how to put music in front of people. That is my idea of like what I think a self-sufficient, successful band looks like now and into the future. Because it's competitive out here. A lot of bands are doing it. A lot of bands are doing it.
Saturated, bro.
Very saturated. And it's hard, to do all that and, focus on the music. And it's going to be a lot at first. But the thing I've learned is the more you grow, the more you can have other people take other things. Like you get a manager, you get a booking agent, you can find an engineer, you can find a producer that you really like. You can hire an editor once you have the wiggle room in your budget because you're making all your own money and you're not paying anybody else like a label or an A&R or a manager you didn't get to choose. Or so just whatever you can do to hold keep as much of the pie in the beginning.
Right.
Do that. Don't let anything hold you back.
That's incredibly detailed answer.
Yeah, I was gonna say that
kind of answered it perfectly. So
nailed it.
Basically, if I were to summarize some of that, I guess we can all agree here that it's more about you need to love the journey.
Yeah.
Right.
You can't go into it wanting that end goal the whole time because the end goal, you reach it and there's going to be a new one.
Goalpost is always moving. Yeah. So you have to fall in love again, like you said, with the craft and the process. And the end goal should never be like playing arenas and doing all this shit and playing stadiums, because that'll just come eventually. Like, I mean, like no one plans to play an arena. Nobody plans to be the band that's selling on arenas. Okay. You got to be, it's like, and if that's your only goal, it's like there's so much more than just playing arenas. There's so much more. There's so much more you do than just playing arenas. That's such a small like the amount of bands that get to do that and the frequency of that is so rare that like there's so many more things that you really need to have control over before you even get to that point. Like that's, really what you need to be focused on. Again, like you said, is enjoying the journey, enjoying creating music, releasing music, seeing the buzz online, interacting with fans. Like. It's the your brand, your business. Yeah, the entrepreneurship, like you're saying. Yeah.
It's the entrepreneurial mindset of, okay, you're a dog chasing the car. What happens when you catch that car? Like the reality is that car is always moving. You may never catch that car, but that's always your goal. You're always getting better. You're always running further. You're always getting, and you do on the occasion that it does happen. What happens when you get there? Is that your goal? Did you set it too low? There's so much more to think about. It's basically like starting any project. It could be a band. It could be anything in your life of like, I want to be X. Okay, what happens next? It's the 5-year plan. It's all of that. So yeah, both of those were like phenomenal.
Yeah, also like setting insane expectations too. That's like a huge mistake and a ginormous no. Like
it is. You'll just get disappointed when you're wanting to play arenas and all you're playing are like bars, and you'll just, you know what I'm saying? And instead of just
free beer for your time,
right. Instead of just being thankful for the fact that like anyone showed up to see a band, they have no fucking idea who it is. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like the fact that even 10 people are in front of you right now and you don't know any of them is like, like. That is important, and that is the kind of stuff that you should be like cherishing and enjoying, and just the process of seeing everything grow and being in control of that and knowing that you can scale it whatever you want to based on how hard you work and how much you learn. The keys, the tools are all there. There's free tutorials on YouTube, a lot of free software you can download to edit video that you can use to start just editing music, recording yourself, anything. Like there's a way to at least get started, and ways to dive deeper with URM like podcast and Nail the Mix to learn how. I know Raul is actually a big user of Nail the Mix and learning how to like mix stuff. Great.
I was on that for a while.
Yeah. It's a great platform. They teach a lot. Like there's people out there that want to help you and that have the answers and that can guide you along your journey if you're just willing to put in a little extra time to have more control over what you're creating.
You got to turn that sponge mode on. If I can
Yes,
quote.
always.
Raul said.
It's sponge
That's
mode.
sponge mode on.
Yeah.
Always it's
Gotta
a
always
thing.
be.
And I think also just to add on to what you're saying, because I know you were saying like if you get offered a deal too early, it's most likely going to be shit and you probably will get shelved.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think to back up what you're saying, building that leverage on your own, it's a really big take, because at that point you have your own like 2 feet to stand on. When you get offered something that's crappy or maybe not to what you want, you can easily say, well, no, you're not going to do anything for us. I mean, I have reservations about whether you need a label or not. But I also think that you need I think you need a label eventually at a certain point in your career.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
But not now. Like, not if
Right.
you just started. What are you doing?
You're not
Yeah.
playing 3 bars, getting picked up, and thinking that you have any leverage at the table. Yeah, you shouldn't be
Exactly.
anyhow. Like, I'd be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the potential is not leverage. Numbers and facts and actual revenue is leverage. So don't think because the potential is in your mind, because I've made this mistake personally myself, talking to labels, thinking that because we have great songs and I think they could be great, thinking we had leverage, but in reality, real leverage is like facts. You can prove this is how much we make a year. This is how many streams we get. This is how many monthly listeners we have. This is how many tickets we can sell. Like this is how much merch we do. This is what we're doing. How is what you're offering me gonna, is what the guarantee or whatever, like sum of money you're offering me really gonna be better than this passive income I'm making from streams, because you're gonna take 50% or 100% or 75% of my masters? No, get out of here. I'd rather take the passive income and go further and go with somebody that's gonna share it a little fairer, or that's going to allow me to have more of my DIY control. You'll know when you're in a position where you have leverage, because when a label offers you anything, you won't. It won't mean as much to you. Like, obviously the interest and everything in a label is always like it feels great, right? But you won't be beholden to that. It won't feel like that's your only avenue for success.
Right.
And walking into any meeting like that is always the best way. Never feeling desperate, like you need to sell yourself. The best way to walk into any meeting.
It's like we talked about the journey. It's like when that time comes, it's like, well, how are you going to make my journey easier? If you can't, and we can't do shit, Right. Yeah, I get it. I completely agree with you, and I love the fact that you guys have that mindset, and you guys are in that right headspace. Yeah. And for a band of your caliber to be there already mentally, that it really is setting you up for the best possible outcome. Hopefully, you guys do achieve that, and you keep going in the route you're going.
Yeah. Throughout the years of just doing it ourselves and having that mistaken mindset, you know what I mean, of wanting the label. Like the label was the validation and they were gonna take us, and like
that's exactly all that it is, dude. It's just a validation fucking ego trip to most people. Oh, we're signed to this label, but what are you doing though?
But and then that's when you have the realization, when you're actually doing this as a career and you go take it far, and like you said, you talk to these labels and you actually sit down, you're like, oh, this is all this really doesn't mean shit. At the end of the day, like, you just sign a contract, and if you get the shitty deal, you get shelved or whatever the hell. So what does it mean then? You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, so it has to make sense. And this is where we're all talking about, like, being in a band is more than just playing music and writing shit. It's like there's layers like a damn onion, bro. Like, so many. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's
perfect analogy, man. That's precisely
it all back.
There's layers. You don't know how many are in there when you start peeling it back, but there's just layer after layer. And you just gotta
you may cry a little bit through it too.
You may cry, and it takes time to grow.
Yep.
You know what? This is awesome. You guys have been a wealth of information. I know that some of the listeners that we target are up and coming dudes and bands. They're gonna love this episode. Like, you guys have dropped a wealth of knowledge. And again, it's crazy because your guys' mindset aligns with mine a lot, and mine and Nick's actually a lot.
Yeah.
So it's beautiful to hear that from other people than me and Nick.
A band,
same shit.
A band that is DIY, hitting Rockville and making strides. Like, again, your numbers are nothing to scoff over. Like, you have just an impressive thing, presence across the board. You're there, you're making it, you're an inspiration to a lot of the bands playing their local bars every night. You know, that they're trying, but there's a next step. There's a next step, and they can make it too. So
100%.
yeah,
Absolutely. Like
Yeah.
I think you touched on something great. We're an unsigned band playing Rockville. Like you can do anything, literally. Like
yeah,
no label got this for us. We had the tenacity to just do our research, know where opportunities were, and we were just there with good music when the opportunities arose. And you know, it's absolutely possible for other DIY unsigned bands. If we've gotten this far, you know, I have no doubt in my mind that someone else could do the same. And my DMs are always open if anyone has any questions, wants to know anything.
that's awesome.
Jeremy Michael NT, that's my username on Instagram. But yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I was actually gonna say, you know, what does the next phase look like? You know, what's upcoming? What can you share as we kind of close out here?
So it's crazy because, like I was telling you guys a little bit earlier, like we just stumbled upon what that is because we were in search of that for a minute. Because like we, you know, we kind of fell into this life hit us individually, and like, you know, it's just been rough to kind of get back in it. And you know, we wrote a song like 3 days ago that kind of has conceptualized what the next thing is, man. And like,
Okay, so it's cooking.
something for sure. Yeah, we're stirring the pot, bro.
Stir the pot.
Yeah,
Let's get okay.
Stir the pot.
Good.
We're stirring the pot. We're adding the ingredients in. Yeah. It was a while of soul searching and a lot of creative blocks. Again, like Raul said, like just a lot of like stuff that happened in our lives personally that just took us off the music path for a little bit and got us, you know, having to focus on like real life for a bit, and then just hitting creative blocks with songs. But I just feel like recently we have had this just insane resurgence. We just cut like a new song in like a couple days, and it's one of my favorite songs now that that we've ever made. And there's like some other songs that kind of tie with it that we've kind of been sitting on that we can like, you know, bring up and repolish and everything. And we have a whole new renewed focus and idea, and conceptually things are working out and things that in ways that they weren't before. So there's not much that we can share now, but like we're excited. So we hope that gets other people excited because you know, the obviously the goal is to like our goal is to have something for people this year in terms of like something.
That's hopeful.
We just can't. We can't be. We can't be like too detailed. I wish we could be more detailed.
No, you're
what it is, but yeah.
Look, whatever you can put on the table, we appreciate, and I mean that alone to fans and even new fans from this listening to this show. That's exciting. So I mean, I personally look. Hey, if you give me something by end of year, I'm happy. You know, like
We got you, bro.
Pressure.
Yeah.
No pressure.
no. Even look, that something could be an announcement for something else. Like that's exciting. You got your hands full.
Announcement that announces the next announcement that announces the next.
You know, yeah, exactly. So people can find you guys on all platforms. I think TikTok, obviously, big presence. Just Nevertel, right? Nevertel at Nevertel.
Yes, at Nevertel. Yep.
And then everything else is a mixture of like what Nevertel US and Nevertel official.
Nevertel US, Instagram is Nevertel official, YouTube.
Okay. We'll get all the links. Yeah, we'll get all the links sorted out for this for sure. So awesome, dude. It has been. Raul, Jeremy, it has been phenomenal. I couldn't thank you enough for coming on, sharing knowledge. I know Javi feels exactly the same. Spending time with us. This is cool.
This is one of my favorite interviews, man. Yeah, thank you so much for having us. Bro. Like this is, and we haven't done it for a minute, so just talking to people about our music and stuff, and you guys diving deep into the music and kind of the process and what the band is. We appreciate you and putting us on your platform, and we hope everybody can grab something from this interview. And
yeah.
Thank you guys so much.
Guarantee they will.
Awesome, for sure.
All right, my boys.
All right, boys. This has been Nick and Javi on Dear Untitled Radio with Nevertel. Signing off. We'll see you next time.
Peace.
See you guys.
Dear Untitled, here for the artists supporting the creatives.